Three, two, one, boom, we're live. Hey everybody, Stuart McAdam here and welcome to today's video answering your questions about digital marketing. It's great to have you along here. And I just wanted to say before we get started that if you're interested in other areas of digital marketing, such as Facebook lead generation ads, automated email marketing sequences, landing page essentials, feel free to check out my channel. I've got a variety of different videos that I've done which cover those different areas and aspects. So if you find it useful and helpful in your business, then go and have a look at those. So without further ado, let's get into today's questions. So I'm going to start actually on something where there's been a lot of questions recently, which is around Facebook ads. So first question is, what do you think about Facebook adding a warning before you share COVID-19 articles? Well, that's something which is sort of Facebook's free to do. It's something they've done at their own discretion as well, and probably stops a lot of people from sharing information which may not be entirely accurate and true, and also stop people from taking advantage of a pandemic to further and help their own business. It actually comes across as a bit slimy. So from a business perspective, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could actually be quite helpful, and it could save your reputation from going down the sink. Next question. Why is it that small businesses are failing at Facebook ads when larger companies are not? Well, that's a good question. Big thing is there because larger companies often have bigger budgets and are able to hire agencies and talent that are at the top of their game. So they have the ability to identify those people and get case studies and track records from them, both as case studies and also just sort of with, past work and referrals. So they can identify who's actually producing great results and who's just talking a big game. So whereas in sort of small businesses, that the job of doing the Facebook ads might be on the shoulders of the business owner or somebody who's only working part-time and has limited experience, but might be more affordable for the company. So it could result in a lot less deliverable results straight away, as opposed to someone who might charge more on a retainer or by the hour, but will actually produce better results. Next question is, if a Facebook ad is started and is supposed to last for 3 months or maybe just multiple months, when will the ad account be debited? At the beginning, middle, or end of the ad campaign? That's entirely dependent on a couple of factors. The first is your total ad spend that you're investing in. So if you're somebody who is got a spend limit of say $500 and you're planning to spend $1,000 a month on that, you're going to be debited at every $500 interval. So if you spend that money in a day, you'll be debited every day. If you spend it over the space of 2 weeks, that's when you'll be debited. Or otherwise, if you just sort of let it run its course and spend under that limit, you'll be debited at the end of each month, or depending on where you live in the world, on the first day of each month. Okay, so next question. How does the Facebook ads course help you to get a dream job in New Zealand? Well, it's entirely dependent on what type of job you're going for, what your dream job is. Like if it's, sort of wanting to work within the digital marketing sphere, if you're choosing just to specialize within Facebook ads, it provides you with a framework to get incredibly good and up to speed on what's working well at the moment within just Facebook itself, and not really worrying too much about the other platforms. And if you've got an immense amount of value and can position yourself as a top 5% worker or contractor or freelancer, then you're going to have a very big advantage over the competition. So I'm actually going to share something which it's a website called consulting.com, and they're incredibly useful for I've got actually 30 hours of Facebook ads training. It's a company that teaches you how to start your own consulting business. So they're pretty good. It's highly effective. I would say anybody who's looking to sort of really sort of upskill themselves in that area should consider joining that consulting.com. They're a fantastic platform, and I still get a lot of value right now out of their out of everything that they teach. So next question is, how do you run an ad company again on Facebook at an affordable price? That's a bit of a tricky one, because to everybody, affordable price could mean a very different thing. So if you're targeting small business owners and people that may not have the largest marketing budgets available for your time and services, and those are the types of people you're going after, then perhaps you're going to have to look at what is going to be a win-win situation for both of you. So if you are working in an environment where you're just looking to get started to build up clients and get an effective client base, then perhaps you need to sort of ask them and just be upfront and say, okay, well, what sort of budget would you be comfortable with each and every month? If you're looking to go something that's a little bit, sort of a little bit more high end, it's something where you're looking to start your own marketing agency, you might want to go to those people and say, and be upfront with the sort of budget or sort of retainer model or success price that you'd be prepared to work with. And you've just got to determine what's going to work best for you. Okay, next question is, why did Facebook remove 17,000 posts worth of Trump, or 17,000 worth of Trump-Pence campaign ads? You might have to include the link in that one for me to have a look at that. I don't actually know enough to make a comment on that one. Possibly they aren't being entirely truthful with what they're campaigning on. It might be related to those ads violating political ad policies, which Facebook has set up. Could be a whole array of reasons. And, I'm not going to make any comments at all on the sort of political leanings of either Trump and Pence or Biden and Harris in regards to their advertising. But, look, they're like everyone else, are required to operate within the business and advertising framework which Facebook has set out. And they're normally pretty clear and pretty helpful in working with you to get to that level, in a reasonably short period of time. So next question is actually from a friend of mine called Nathan, who's selling honey, and he says, how would I be able to market the honey I'm selling more effectively? So this is a very good question. Main thing that I would do is I would put a premium on it. I would say it's New Zealand made, establish that trust which people have with the product, because, he's selling here in New Zealand, so people trust New Zealand products. I would say it is something, it's got Manuka, so it's, got health benefits. It is very affordable. There are, it's local people as well, because he's selling, the guys are based here in the Bay of Plenty, and he's selling the honey here in the Bay of Plenty, so it's local, and tastes fantastic, and there's plenty of people to back up what they've just said on that as well. I'd be one of them. I love the honey which he's selling. It's Kingdom Hives honey, and if you want to go and find them, I'm just going to include the link to their Facebook page because they are fantastic lads, and anybody who's looking for honey in the New Zealand area should definitely consider getting some honey from them. They are top of the range. I bought my mum their premium honey, which is a little bit more expensive, but worth every penny because it's fantastic. So those are the three things I would say is like, people are raving about it, local. It's a local business, New Zealand made product, and also talk about the health benefits as well. Okay, so next question. This is actually one that might be really relevant to your business. It is, how good or bad is it to target the whole United States with Facebook ads? Look, if you're in the learning stages of ad development and you're not quite sure as to who your target market is yet and what their interests are and what they might possibly be struggling with completely, and you may be wanting to just test the market research, test the market, and gather some findings and information, it's not a bad idea to target as broadly as possible. And I'm actually doing that right now with two of my clients, and I've only just completed that with another client where we've been very broad-based in our targeting, and we haven't done anything that's very narrow or specific. We've gone as broad as possible. And we've found that there's been common patterns with the two campaigns that have been running, where you're starting to see trends of what age group people are in, what area they're living in, and what their likely behavior is and how they're best responding to ads, because there was overlapping similarities. And using that information, we were able to take that and scale the campaigns so effectively that the cost per lead has gone down even more. So I would say it's not a bad idea in the initial stages. And once you have the information you need, you can go on to the next stage and, go for the more targeted specific audiences. So next question, moving on to email marketing. Just have a sip of coffee, excuse me. Question is, will I get the expected result from email campaigns? What technicality should I take care of? Excellent question. Main thing you need to be aware of is making sure that, in terms of technicalities, is making sure that all the automations are working and they are being sent to the right people. If you've got that right, you're on a winning path. And as far as expected result, look, you should probably have a look at what your likely success rate is going to be in terms of open rate and click-through rate, and set your standards 10% above what the industry average is, because it's important to sort of want to be better and be better than anyone else, and have a look at what the outcomes are. So if it's someone who is really engaged and has an interest, say, for example, you got an online e-commerce store, it would be a big advantage to set up an abandoned cart email sequence. And from that, you're probably going to get a good open rate from people who may have just gotten distracted. Say, for example, they're wanting to buy one of your gift boxes, and then all of a sudden their kids started fighting, or they had to go and make dinner, or a friend came over, or someone in their family got sick, and they just forgot and exited out, and that was it. So if you are providing that prompt and follow-up reminder, then you can expect to get some really good results, and your ROI is going to be really good for having a sort of basic automation. Okay, next question. What is the meaning of email deliverability and open rates and click-through rates? Okay, so for that, you want to have a look at the different sections. So deliverability is, if you've got 100 emails, how many of those were made it into somebody's inbox? That would be the best way to describe deliverability. For open rates, it's the number of people who saw the email in the inbox and sort of opened it up and maybe had a read of it. For click-through rate, it's people who received the email, opened it, and clicked on a link within the email, which takes them to a page, whether it's a landing page of yours or whether it's something that is, sort of offline. Next question is regards to what's the difference between a spam email and a cold email, legally speaking? I would say there's a little bit of a difference. Not a little bit of a difference, a big difference. That's very important for people that are wanting to do that. So if you are just, say, for example, a person that sells phones, and you just do a big bulk send to 20,000 people in your local area, and it's just like, I sell these phones. These phones are amazing. Come and buy one. That's unsolicited. It doesn't address the person's immediate need. Many of them probably already have phones and don't see a need for it, and it gets flagged as spam, and it's not meeting an immediate need. Whereas in a cold email is if someone's made their information readily available and you reach out to them, addressing a specific need which their market might have. And you include the option for somebody to unsubscribe. It's, legally speaking, you're going to be all right. I mean, I can only speak for New Zealand here. I can't speak sort of for other overseas countries where the requirements are different, but those are the big things to distinguish. Is spam normally tends to be something which is not really addressing anybody's need except the person who's trying to sell to you. Whereas in, next question I'm going to ask is, answer, what practices will help in growing my email subscribers list? Promoting on lead gen ads on Facebook, which welcomes people to come and join your community or your group or your business marketing list is a good start. Having a private Facebook group or LinkedIn group, which you invite people to sign up on as well. If you've got a YouTube channel, you could encourage people to come and join that list, or you could have shared content, like have a call to action button at the bottom of each blog post if you're getting some reasonable traffic from people. Next question is, what is the best low-cost email marketing tool? I would say there's a platform called EasySendy Pro that I've only ever had one client use, but they were telling me about the different things you can do out of it. You can get integration of the get site control. You could you can get email campaign list filter, email list suppression feature. It's really good for small and medium businesses to use it in a very simple manner. And there's somebody that not many people know about, because obviously with that platform, some of the big platforms are really just dominating, like sort of MailChimp and Klaviyo and so on. But if you want to go to like a premium platform like that, like it's for, I'm just having a look at their pricing now. So for 1 million subscribers, which you can send 30 emails a second, 10 delivery servers, is $349 a month. And if you just sort of want to go onto, you can go and like configure your plan as well. So say, for example, you could have 5 million subscribers, the send speed, 120 a minute. It's $1,049 a month, which is remarkably affordable when you have a look at how much another platform might be charging for that similar amount. So it's quite scalable by the from what I can remember of it. And the client that I had that used it was singing its praises big time. So definitely have a look into that if you are looking for, if you do have a large email marketing list or even just a small one. Okay, so next question is another Facebook ads one, which is great. Keep them coming, everybody. And that is, how do I get a Facebook ad ID from the ads on the page of an ad library? That's quite a technical question. If you go put that into onto Facebook's FAQ section, they've got actually a really good write-up explanation of it. And I think you'll benefit a lot from having a read of that. Next question is, if a Facebook ad is started and is supposed to last for 3 months, how long is it before I can measure the effectiveness of the campaign? Is it near the beginning? Is it in the middle or at the end? The main time period in which you can measure whether or not it's doing well is towards the end of the first 2 weeks. So that should give you a reasonably good idea as to how effective it is in developing results and the results that you're looking for. Because at the moment, there's a lot of people who are just looking to get, sort of as many leads as possible, as much engagement as possible, and it's not giving them the outcome which they're looking for. And you want to start having a look at, after the first week, after the first 2 weeks, were the conditions set up in a way to allow success with those Facebook ads? Because if they're not, then it might require a bit of a revised evaluation to see what is working well and what isn't. And if it is working well, then you want to look at whether or not it is worth scaling your business up. So that's a very good question. So thanks very much for asking that, John. Next question is from Louis, and Louis asks, for Facebook ads, which interests would you use to target solar panel installation? That's a really good question. I actually had a client that was in the solar energy industry, and the things that we were targeting at the moment was a lot of companies that provided solar energy solutions, political parties which had environmental policies which were targeting sort of the use of solar power, companies like Tesla, and also people that were, this is not really an interest, it's more sort of a demographic thing, but people that tended to be higher income earners, because the installation of solar panels can be costly. Depending on what state you live in, you do get some very good rebates and so on. So you've just got to have a look at the types of things that someone who is leaning towards solar panels is looking at. They're looking for sort of cost savings, helping out the environment, energy efficiency, and also people who have a little bit more spare income as well. And I would also say, in terms of putting together an ad like that, just a quick bit of advice: look to educate people about the rebates and incentives that are available with signing up to solar energy, because I know that in the states of New York and Connecticut, there are some really big incentives going right now that make getting solar panels fitted out on your home, on your house roof or on your property incredibly cost effective, to the point where the overall savings over a period of time is so good that you actually end up almost getting paid in the long run, because you can sell back that spare energy that is being produced onto the main grid. Next question is, are Facebook or Google ads better for inexpensive products? That's a really tough and tricky question, because you have to first have a look at what exactly the product is and how much search volume there is for that product on Google, and possibly see how much that product is trending on social media platforms like Facebook. So if you're on Google and you see that there's 100 million people every single month that are searching for, say, for example, foam rollers or for smartphone accessories, then maybe it is a good idea to focus your efforts a little bit more on Google, and then have a look and see what comes of it. If it's something where it's a little bit more popular on Facebook and you're targeting, say, a very specific region and area, then maybe it's better to look at the Facebook option. But that's entirely dependent on how much you're able to engage with people who are, sort of on the different platforms. And it also depends on your ability to produce quality ads that can really engage and entice people, as opposed to something that's a little bit less compelling. So the next question is from Alicia, and Alicia asks, if Google launches its very own social media, will Facebook lose users and ads? That's entirely dependent on what Google produces and what they bring out as far as a social media platform. They did, if you can remember, up until really recently, they did have Google Plus, which was kind of like a little bit of a social platform. And how effective it was, I don't know. But Facebook really just seemed to steamroll its way in popularity in terms of being able to provide the most user-friendly experience for people to stay in touch and connect with the world. So they might possibly use some losers. They're losing some young losers, not young losers, sorry, users. They are using some young users to platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat. But if you have a look at their savviness, they've brought Instagram, and I believe that they own WhatsApp as well, as far as I know. Yes, they do. So they bought WhatsApp for $19.3 billion. So their leverage of other platforms is very, very effective as well, and they're able to engage a lot of people on those different platforms as well. So if Google is to try and do something like that, they'll probably do what Google does best and acquire one of those social media companies and look to grow it out from an existing existing user base rather than building one from the ground up, which is, as anybody knows, a very difficult thing to do. Next question is, who would you recommend for digital marketing courses and why? And that is from, who's that from? Alice. Okay, Alice, that is a fantastic question. If you're looking at email marketing list building, I'd recommend a lady called Jenna Kutcher. She is very good with content development and also developing effective and engaging, catchy ads. She's a very like sanguine type of personality. So she's very good for email marketing, list building, for how to start a digital marketing business. Look at Sam Ovens from consulting.com. If you're looking for just Facebook ads training, there is a guy called, what's his name? There's a guy called Depeche. I can't remember what his last name is, but he's very good for Facebook ads. And if you're looking for to take inspiration from content marketing, I would say keep a regular eye out for people like Russell Brunson, Jenna Kutcher, Sam Ovens, and have a look at what type of content they're producing and see how you can adopt their message and style and structure to fit your message, fit your business message. Okay, so got time for one more question. So that is coming from Sally. And Sally asks, is there value in having a Facebook group for my business and why? Yes, there's definitely a lot of value in having a Facebook group because you're able to connect and engage with people who have an interest in the product or service area that your business is operating in. And if you're able to keep the conversation going on a regular and consistent basis, then people's trust in you starts to go up more. Their likelihood to buy a product from you is going to go up, and you'll find that the overall level of engagement and them sharing, if you do provide them with good content and value, they'll be more likely to share the group and share the information with their networks of people. So the leverage which you get from that type of marketing is so incredibly valuable. So I'm going to wrap it up right there today, guys. It's been some fantastic questions, very heavily skewed towards email and social and Facebook ads marketing, but that's actually quite a good thing as well because it's the two areas that I know best. So if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and tap the bell icon for regular updates on digital marketing, and also with tips on how you can improve with Facebook ads, landing pages, content development, and the like. So I've got to get back to work. It's good to have you tuning in. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.